Hey Matt,
What's going on?
you got a pretty setting back there.
Oh yeah, I'm just on the back deck, Just
Nice.
get
It
away from the dog and all of that jazz. Keep her in. Keep it
it
a
looks
little
like a
quiet out here.
raccoon crawled out of the woods and ended up on your chin, though. What happened
Yeah.
there?
Right.
He may have.
Yeah, it's long. Holy
Yeah,
cow.
I know. It's just don't feel like trimming it. You know what I mean? Ask Brian about that. I
Yeah,
think he
that feels.
when's the last time you trimmed that shit?
Just gonna say 100-degree heat. Why would you want to?
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for being here. This is awesome. I haven't been able to talk to you, Brian or Pete before, but Matt and I have talked about the debut album back in, gosh, that was like what, 6 years ago?
Like 1,000 years ago, I think
Oh
at
my
this point.
gosh, it's been a long time. I didn't realize that until I started like coming up with questions and I was like, when was that? Because I'm thinking it's been like, I mean, the last, 4 years, it felt like it's been 30. And so I'm like, oh, that's been 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was 2018, I think.
Yep. Yeah, and it was recorded probably 3 years before that. I remember that coming soon 2015 or whatever, and then like 3 years later we finally got it out.
Hey, what is soon though, really?
Yeah,
That's
exactly. We left it open ended.
Right? Geologic time.
right. Right. Well, these songs, the four EP songs that you just released, gosh, less than a week ago, um, those were all previously written as well. Did you write those clear back in, let's see, what would that have been? 2013 or 20?
But most of it, I think, right? Yeah, pretty much. I think Born Again and Rage was a later addition. But I didn't finish writing all the vocals till a few years ago, and then recorded them out here in St. Louis separate. So that we finished them probably, it's a little while ago, but not in that same sessions. But the music was definitely written back then, besides Born Again and Rage, I think, right? As far as I remember.
Yeah, all those tracks, with the exception of Born Again and Rage, all of that was done back, when this originally was the first album was supposed to come out, like, yeah, 2014 or whatever. So
Yep. We're
been
slow
sitting there.
rollers.
That's all right. You guys are bringing out the goods, so that's all right. So what made you guys decide this was the four that you still had on deck. What made you guys decide now was the time to release them?
I think we finally just had them finalized to where we were all finally happy with the way they were. They'd been, we wanted to share them even before that. Just things didn't work out. We finally found people who wanted to kind of help us out and get it out to the world. And once that happened, it happened quick. Once we finally were like, okay, we're gonna get this done. Matt spearheaded a lot of that, thankfully, and it's funny. It took so long to get to that point, but once it was there, man, they were out like fast.
Well, you guys all are busy outside of this. I mean, all three of you have big projects. I mean, sounds like you, Pete. I just asked Matt. Sounds like you're involved in quite a few of them. I know, Matt, you have Living Wreckage, and obviously, Brian, you're back with Shadows Fall. And so you guys are not, it's not like you guys are just sitting around.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I know we hadn't, we hadn't played together for a while. We hadn't done anything. So it kind of just fell on the back burner while everyone was doing other stuff. And then, life just gets in the way. But the songs were so good and we were so happy with how everything came out that we were just getting bummed that we weren't able to share them with the world. So thankfully we've got past that.
Yes, thankfully. And they're heavy, man. They're a heavy quad.
Indeed.
Yeah.
There's good variety too, I think too. There's like a lot of ups and a lot of ebb and flow with these songs. It's funny because it does flow like an EP, even though it just sort of happened that way by default.
Yeah, it kind of, if I remember correctly, it was like heavy and then like more melodic, heavy, and then more melodic. It kind of went in a I feel like that's how it was. Kill the Mind. Tell me, I mean, you guys have obviously very important messages with your lyrics. It's one of my favorite things about the project. Tell me a little bit about the title of the EP, and then we'll go into a couple of the songs.
Yeah, that song is lyrically, it's sort of about getting past all the obstacles that the mind will create for yourself, like all the self-defeating stuff, and how letting your thoughts kind of take over and lose control of that will can lead into some dark places. So it's about, like, kill the mind sounds like almost evil, but it's actually a pretty, like, almost like Buddhist way of looking at things. Honestly, and it's almost like a Dune, like Benny Gesserit like way of looking at things too, which is so at least a little bit timely, but yeah, it's funny because it's probably the most brutal tune out of all, even the old record as well. I think that's probably the most straightforward, grab the throat kind of song. But the lyrics are definitely more in a transcendental meditation sort of vibe, and just about, like, getting away from the anxiety and the self perpetuating sort of, like, doom you can bring on yourself with your own thoughts. So
Yeah, yeah. And you did a beautiful job with that. I mean, it's very clear that that's what you're talking about, and that's so important. I mean, especially
with the
nowadays.
Downpour stuff in general, I went a lot more straightforward with the lyrics than probably some of the other bands I've been in that have been, like, maybe trying to use wordplay and get all, like, flowery with shit and metaphors. And I'm like, this one is just like, nah, like, just straight to the point.
So did that feel more cathartic for you to be able to do that, to be able to just put it out there versus try it to, like you said, flower it up?
Yeah, these songs were very easy to write because of that. They flowed pretty quickly. In general, it's funny for how long it took to come out. When we all got together to do this, like, it happened super fast and organically. Then it just sat on a shelf. That was, but the initial burst was pretty crazy. Like, I know these guys sent me a bunch of instrumentals, and we had finished songs, like, really fast. So it's just great. It's crazy how that worked. But then it's funny that it took the fastest to write and the longest to put out.
Hey, that's all right. Sometimes that happens. So I'm sure we talked about this before, Matt, but it's been a long time, so I can't remember. How did you guys all end up connecting?
Well, really from the old jam spot, I mean, it's gone now, unfortunately. But we all had, like, a little community down in this jam spot, and we just started writing. I was writing with Derek. Him and I just got together and started doing one thing, and it just kind of evolved. And then Pete came in, and it really just started, like, it. Then it felt like a band, and it was like, oh shit, like, what are we gonna do now? Now we got to get a singer. Like, who the hell's gonna do this? And then when we sent it to Brian, we initially sent it to him thinking, like, oh man, it'd be awesome if we could get him to, like, just lay down vocals for, like, one track or something. But he actually liked all of it, so we were, like, pretty stoked. It worked out good.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
dirty
remember.
music, the Dirty Berg, that practice,
Yeah.
so much going on. Like, it's crazy. It's funny that it's such a bummer it's gone, because so much cool shit happened in that room, in that building.
I feel like maybe it was Derek. Did he? I feel like he had mentioned it on social media and had, like, a picture of the place. Is that what he was talking about?
Probably.
I feel like I had
It was this
seen, like,
dingy basement in a mostly vacant building,
yeah,
but it had just so much life to it.
yeah. Such a bummer. But good thing you guys got to be a part of it. Like, you got Nothing But Memories, which is the next
Right.
song I wanted to talk about, which I know that was like a smooth little segue. The bass line at the beginning of that one I really dig. You don't always hear in bands bass, and obviously it's a very important instrument, and so I appreciate that about you guys. And that bass line I really, really dug at the beginning of that one. Tell me about that song, both musically and lyrically.
I think it started with that guitar riff, I think, and we were just jamming it, and a lot, like, Derek started off a lot of songs with, like, either a count in or a neat fill, and then we would kind of come in together. And I don't honestly remember who suggested, like, why don't the bass take the riff? And we tried it, and we're like, hey, that works. I'm always going to vote for that. No comment to this, so the answer is almost always going to be yes from me. So
Yeah, Yeah, that one we'd always jokingly call it the hit because it was the more straightforward of any of the songs we'd written, which then translated into the shit, I think, at some point. But
Right.
it's definitely heavy and groovy without a whole lot of changes like some of the other songs, and lyrically, a lot of it came from I think it was like a conversation I was having with Derek one night after practice, and he was talking about how like he was always afraid of dying, and it just kind of went off into that. But I took it more of a like don't let that slow you down from living, though. Like it was more of like getting over that fear, and kind of realizing like you can think about it all you want, you can worry about it all you want, you can ask all the questions in the world, but no one's got any of those answers. Like no one knows anything, that's happening in the afterlife or any of that stuff. So it's like, why let that slow you down? So, but yeah, I'm super that song. I always loved that song. So I'm glad we finally got to finish that out and get it out, because it's a killer one.
Yeah.
No, I love that philosophy. I think I always as a therapist, I always will tell clients, and I don't ever know, everybody's different. And so I don't ever know if I'm helping or hurting when I'm saying this, but we're like such a small, insignificant nothing in all the universes that I'm like, why stress about things that are outside of your control when it's such a small nothing in such a grand scheme of life and of a universes.
Totally. Once you start all your worries and hopes, like when you put in the scope of the universe, like don't mean anything. So just get over it.
Yeah, right. Just enjoy what you can enjoy and try not to stress about the things that, I mean, especially, the world now, a lot of it's outside of our control. A lot of people are stressing and it can be overwhelming. So it's like, okay, zone in on what's in your control and concentrate on that.
Yep.
It's exhausting to do anything else. All right,
Yeah.
your last revolution. Tell me about that one.
The probably my favorite riff out of the Downpour catalog is that
catchy.
That the little triplet thing. I love that riff. So I'm assuming that was a Matt riff.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. That to me sums up a lot about like our style, sort of, because like Derek's got a very particular groove. Matt has a very kind of signature style of riff writing, and I think that one really captures it pretty dead on. I also was using the instrumental for soundtrack to some workout videos I was doing, so it's a great tempo to sweat to, for sure. And lyrically, it was kind of about like, I don't know, I'd see a lot of like kids who used to be like either hardcore kids or metalhead kids who were like super into trying to change the world and do all this stuff and like not give into the normal kind of rat race. But then all of a sudden, by the time they like get a little older, they're like not only part of it, they're like totally thriving off of it, and it just kind of turning their back on kind of some of those old ideals and just just becoming another cog in the machine sort of thing. So it was just kind of about that. Like the Lost Revolution is more about like all these, I remember growing up, all these kids being like, like try to, I guess, rage against the machine, as they would say. But like, then all of a sudden you're just like, nah, dude, you're just like, you're as corporate as they come now. So it was just sort of about that, like sort of dichotomy you see a lot. So.
Or get older and things, you become a part of, and it's like you lose your creativity sometimes.
That's what it's about. A reminder to myself, like that's what I always joke. Like people quit skateboarding because they get old. I'm like, I'd get old if I quit skateboarding, and like metal is kind of the same way to me. Like, and it is weird because some of the guys I know who have been on the road for their entire lives, who've lived a very unhealthy lifestyle, still look like 20 years younger than most of the people their age. So there's this weird Peter Pan effect to it, So although it usually does tip the scales at some point where you're just, and you burn out early, but it can go either way. But it's funny how it works, like once you slow down, the body at rest will stay at rest, so you got to just kind of keep moving.
Well, music is life too, so I could see how that would be like the fountain of youth for some. For Keith Richards, it definitely is. Something I think is really important to talk about, which I don't think I was talking about back when we had talked originally, Matt. Self-care. What are some things you guys do for balance for self-care in life, especially with as busy as you all are? How do you take care of yourselves?
You're asking me that?
I know what you do, Matt.
Yeah. I do a lot of this, you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly writing music, and to me, that's the most important part of self-care that I think I have really, because without it, I would just I'd probably go nuts. I'd lose it. It's my therapy, which is like we always used to joke around that, Downpour practice. We used to like religiously would practice like every Tuesday night, and that would be like our therapy session. You know what I mean? Because we at the time we were just like really, really locked in, and it was tight, and it was real. But yeah, always writing, always jamming, staying busy. I think staying busy is really important. Otherwise, you just have too much time to sit around and conjure up stupid shit to get yourself worked up about.
For sure. Plus, you got
Yeah.
nature there. You got a really pretty surrounding. I'm sure that
Oh,
helps
thanks.
too.
Yeah. That
I'm in the desert.
definitely helps. Unfortunately, at the end of the summer, like in the fall, all of this goes away, and you can see all the houses and everything, which kind of sucks. So right now, it's like my own little nook. I like it.
Then you just get curtains.
Yeah, something like that.
How about you, Pete?
I play a lot of music too. Matt's right, jokingly called it volume therapy or loudness therapy. I play in a bunch of different projects. I'm not like a riff or songwriter like Matt is, but like I'll lay down the bass a bit. The other thing, I haven't gotten to do it lately because of weather mostly, but I've discovered since moving to this house a few years ago how much I love lawn care, which
Oh,
sounds
no, me
absurd.
too.
And like 20-year-old me would like hang himself if he heard me saying this. But that hour of pushing the lawnmower around the yard, making nice straight lines, brain completely off, other than making sure the line is exactly straight, is just so like perfect for me. I can't believe I'm saying these words, but it's so cathartic for me. It just a brain off, walk straight, turn around, walk straight again, and do this for an hour. Do this like 70 times back and back and forth. And then like go charge up the lawnmower battery and then put it away and then do it again in a week.
Yeah. Like it's instant gratification because you automatically get to see, like, enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'm the same
Right.
way. I love mowing.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying it, but here we are.
Well, I definitely understand.
My backyard is like gardens everywhere. We've got vegetables, we've got flowers, we've got everything. Like I spend so much time out there, and my daughter wants to learn how to mow the lawn. I'm like, that's that time, like like I don't want to give it up. I put on my noise canceling headphones, put on some like a Grateful Dead show, and I just go into my own world and just push the mower, and I love it. That and lately I've been kind of spend a lot of time either working out or just doing yoga or exercising. If I don't get it, I used to get a deep sweat on tour every night with Shadows Fall, and getting that stuff out. Once it was gone, I had to find something to replace that. And as I get older, it keeps me moving and things like that. So between those things, and then thankfully playing shows here and there again has brought some of that side, because I would get to yell at some people for 45 minutes to an hour every night. And once that was gone, I was like, the only people to yell at are the ones in my house, and they really don't like it as much as the people in the crowd. So I had to find some other outlets, which was either exercise or things like that. But it's been nice to balance that with some shows every now and then too, to kind of have that release. And even just practicing in the car for like Shadows Fall shows, on the commute, just getting to scream again is definitely helpful. So, but you got to find those things, because you can just let things overwhelm you, and if you don't have some sort of outlet or some sort of sanctuary, it's tough. So
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'll ask someone that and I get like deer in the headlights look, like I've never thought about that. And like, oh, it's so important. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. It's so important to think about it. So important to make sure that you're doing, because burnout, man, you burn out and it's hard to come back from.
Nope.
Yeah. What are some things that you guys do outside of music, of all the music and the self-care, like hobbies, if anything outside of that?
Anyway.
That's pretty much it. Like,
Mhm.
I work a lot, so like when I'm not working, I'm like relaxing or playing music.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's same thing. It's funny though. I like to do things that I don't do in bands. Like I play drums a lot and I play guitar poorly a lot, just for fun. And luckily, my kids keep me so busy these days that honestly, I'm like pretty much almost a full-time soccer mom at this point. So, which is great too, though. Like I get to kind of help them find the things they're into, which is cool, and watch them kind of grow. Because yeah, my hobbies are basically our music, skateboarding, and things like that. So it's been the same since I was 11, 12 years old. So it's fun now to kind of have their outside interests be part of my life now too,
Yeah,
so.
makes sense.
And Matt just drinks.
I cook a lot. There's
Ah,
that, Oh
that's
yeah,
fun.
yeah, I do a lot of cooking. There's some drinking going down with that. Not gonna lie, but yeah, I love cooking. I'm always cooking for my family, and making a nice sauce, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's good. It's good shit.
That's a good hobby. I need to learn how to do it better because I am not good at that.
Is that your
I-
new grill in the background there, Matt?
Yeah, 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 buddy.
Right on.
Cool. I mean, just the regular streaming platforms, I assume, is where everybody can get the music. Are you guys planning on releasing it outside of that? Any new merch, or is it just going to be out there for everybody to be able to enjoy?
It is on all the streaming spots, but we are doing a limited amount of CDs, I believe, which didn't even know they still existed, but which is cool because there are people who already asked for physical, media of it, but it's pretty limited, which is also cool, I think. So it makes people who do want it, it's special, give them something. I would love to see a vinyl release, even of maybe both records together somehow down the road. But that's just because I'm like a record collector myself. It would be mostly because I want a few different colored variants of my own. But in the meantime, it's out and about everywhere on all the normal Spotify's and it's up on. I think it's up on YouTube already too. So, and streaming's definitely the move these days. But I'm glad there's at least some options and hopefully some others down the road. But for now, just head to wherever you get your tunes.
Cool. Any shirts or anything that you guys are gonna do, or just gonna kind of keep it at that right now?
I don't know. What? Maybe.
Yeah. Fair enough. Maybe's all right.
Yeah. I would love it. I assume at some point, if the interest is there, we'd maybe think about some merch stuff if it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's such a different world now. You can do stuff on a small scale too, where you don't have to print up thousands of shirts or whatever, or thousands of CDs, do kind of small batches. So we'll see. It is just kind of weird because I wish we were more of an active band that was playing shows and doing a little bit more to get the stuff out there. But for right now, we're just happy that we finally got to share these songs with other people. I've been listening to them forever, so it's good.
Right.
Else.
Yeah, you guys are like 10 years later now. Everyone else gets to hear him. No, I was so glad. I was so excited to see that there was more that was being released, because I obviously loved the first album. I don't do reviews very often, but that was one of them that I did review because I liked it so much. And so I was so excited to see that there was more to come. And so I know that this might be it. I of course will hold on to hope that maybe not, but I do appreciate and love what you guys have done, what you guys have given everybody, especially not just musically, but lyrically as well, because I just think it's really important messages that you guys are putting out there.
Thank you. That means a lot. And there may be a few things floating around still in the archive, so we'll see. If they ever get finished, it might be another 10 years. But
Yeah,
Hey,
summer
well,
2050.
Summer
Yeah.
2050.
I plan on still being here, so
That might be aggressive though.
you guys will be like grandpas. All right, here's the rest of it.
you know,
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I super,
No.
super appreciate it.
indeed.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot,
for
Nika.
word.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a wonderful, I keep thinking it's the weekend. It's only Monday. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday and hopefully a good week. And then your weekend will be nice.
Indeed, you as well, man.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Dudes, I haven't seen you all faces in a while, besides through text. So.
Right?
Yeah, no shit, huh?
Start sending
Oh.
each other selfies a little bit more often, maybe.
Indeed,
Yeah,
or
up
FaceTime.
my selfie game.
Awesome. All right, thanks again, Nika.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Okay.
good rest of your day.
You too.
too.
You as
Bye-bye.
well. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.